The truth of the matter is, with Mary and Pam, all the new news and hot topics.
For local information, you can contact Columbia Emily. You can contact www.naacp. Donald Trump. All of it. I think that welcome to another podcast of The Truth of the Matter Is with Mary and Pam. We are so excited that you decided to tune in with us again today to listen to us tell you about the issues that are going on in the world today, and hopefully we could bring some insight to maybe some questions that you might have with what's going on in the news, and kind of just let you know what's really happening in the world, because there's so much stuff going on now. You just don't even know where to start.
You don't know where to start. There's so many disasters and catastrophes going on in the world, with the flooding down in
Texas,
yes, and the fires and the tornadoes and all of those things around. It's just the weather, the thing. Well, in the book of Revelation, y'all don't like to hear that, but we're in the book of Revelation. But anyway, and then of course, what we live with right here every day, and we have to deal with, is this big bill thing that
big bad bill
that has been signed into law by the president now, that takes a lot of health care away from people, takes food off the table and shelter from
I was listening today. They had Josh Hawley from, we of course in Missouri, and they had Josh Hawley on there, and he went through all of that, trying to act like he was so concerned with the Medicaid and all that, and what he wasn't going to do. Then turned around and signed the bill. They interviewed him today, and he was like, what I got from Missouri, I got this and I got that from Missouri, and my main thing is that I want to make sure that these rural hospitals will not close down. Well, they said that what he signed, that the rural hospitals in Missouri will be some of the first ones to close down.
He knows that.
And so he is really trying to cover his tracks, because he's going to be up for re-election.
What happens, they all follow Trump's lead. They can lie about anything. I was sitting there listening, with Trump talking about the fact that his administration said that they had the files on Epstein when they were going to release them. And she sit here talk about, I have them on my desk right now. And then they say they can't find them. They don't have them. She didn't have them. They don't know where they are. I'm sitting here saying, I got this book laying here right now. And then we get up and leave, and I say, we didn't have the book.
Well, he's embarrassing anyway, as y'all president, because he yesterday, and I mean, it really isn't a laughing matter. It's really embarrassing. But he was talking to one of his guests that came from, I believe it was Africa, or anyway, he was talking to him, and he was talking about how wonderful, he was an African American, how wonderful he was speaking his language, and he was so impressed with the etiquette, basically, of him using this English language. And he said, where did you learn to talk like that? And the guy was just like, just at home. And he was like, you speak better than they do here in this country. And he made this big deal about it. And then come to find out, English is the language that they speak. So he didn't even know that was their natural language. And so it's just embarrassing.
It is embarrassing on every level, because he will say, and he knows that that he will say, like, he was not going to, he tried to pretend like he didn't know that there was a stoppage on the material to go to Ukraine. He pretended like he didn't know that. In the first place, they're not going to do nothing he didn't know about. Right. But if he didn't know about it, he's a very sick president. That if you can have something that can cause a world war, and it could go through and you not know about it. Right. That just doesn't say much for you.
And he blamed it on a
headset.
Yes. And said that maybe he signed it or something. He did. And then the thing about it is that he said he was gonna not support Ukraine. Then he doesn't support Ukraine. Then he wasn't. Then he was. And so they're like, well, which is it? Are you or are you not? You know, Putin your friend, Putin not your friend. He's doing whatever he thinks or saying whatever he thinks sounds good at the moment.
At the day.
And so it's embarrassing to see him sit there and for people to think that he represents our country.
The thing that is troubling to me, we talk about what he's doing and all of this as if we have no power to do anything. We got the power sitting right there in the House of Representatives.
Right.
That we need to get on their behinds.
We need to get rid of them.
And say, get rid of them and say, we sent you here to represent us. Not that we don't have a king that you got to bow down to.
Because they turned all their power over to him.
They turned all of their power over to him.
Power to purchase everything.
The heck with what the representative people that sent you there. So we sent you there so we can just take you out.
Right. And that's just like with the Medicaid and all of that. They act like that did not matter. Right. And that's affecting everyone. It was such a big. They said they haven't had a massive cut like that.
Hospital closing.
Yeah, in forever. And that usually what happens is you build on what's already there, and they have just taken everything and taken it back. And they're always asking the questions. Well, what are the Democrats going to do? We as Democrats, what we have to do is call a spade a spade. We have to put truth to power. We have to let individuals know that when he's lying, that he's lying.
And they're beginning to stand up and say that. And they're fighting, and I'm very impressed with the fact that they're fighting. They don't get the coverage from the news media that they ought to get, and that is not it. But that's why we're doing these rallies across the state.
Right.
And John Lewis getting in good trouble. We're going to stay in good trouble.
Exactly.
And so we're going to hold their feet to the fire. And we have to hold up our representatives. Yeah, and we said that to our representative here, is that we got your back.
When we've got one that's doing what they're supposed to be doing.
I'm saying if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, get them out of there in November. If they're doing what they're supposed to do, we're going to say, don't you bother them, we coming after you.
Right.
We do. So we have to support our representatives to make sure that they stand out there and fight for the rights of the people, because our democracy, our America will, as we know, I had some people and we were talking about a song to sing, a patriotic song, and all of the people in the room said no. They didn't want to sing that song. And that kind of was a little painful for me, because this is our home. This is our land, and it's kind of like your family. You protect and support your family. We had people that gave their lives. Our soldiers, our families, our friends gave their lives so that we could have this democracy, this freedom. They went across the waters, left their wives and their children, so that they could, because America was so important to them and its values. America, not because it had the name America, but because of the value that it had, and how it tried to take care of the people in the land, how other people wanted to come here because of who we were and how we were. And now to have somebody come in and just tear it up.
Right. And one of the things about this country, one of the things that has made this country as great as it is, and they talk about the immigrants, but it has been everybody, immigrants included. That is what has made this country, exactly, and that has been what has made this country the country that it is. And you know, we're running around. You've got them with ICE running into mostly predominantly black or minority populated areas, just yanking up people, taking them off. They're in masks. You don't know who they are. You don't know who they are. You don't know. It could be anybody on the street.
Let me just say this, is that the Klan took off the white robes and put on the mask with ice on their back.
That's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what they have done. And we have to be aware of that.
Right.
And we have to fight that.
And we have to say it.
We have to say it. We have to be willing to say it. And that's the thing that people are like, we can't say this, you know, we want we don't want a division of the country. The country is already divided. And divided. And our job is to say what's right, to do what's right, and to fight for what's right.
And we can never bring it together if we're not honest about what the problem is.
That's exactly right.
I cannot address an issue if I'm not going to admit that that issue is real. And so we need to say what it is, and then we need to work on it. We have good black people and we have bad black people.
That's right.
We have good white people and we have bad white people. Same thing with immigrants. But we have got to say, you know what? The people that are out trying to do the right thing.
That's right.
They're trying to stand up for this country, willing to work, pay their taxes, act like decent citizens, that we need to support.
And children are hungry and dying of hunger. And the strawberries in the fields are rotting because they have deported the people who picks them.
Right.
And not just strawberries.
Right.
But
that's just an example.
And that's just one example of those things.
Right.
And it's worse yet to come.
And then they're messing with the SNAP. They're messing with the food stamp. So that individuals, not only that, they're not going to be able to get the food that they need. They're messing with health care. Now we've got this big measles epidemic. Measles was totally eradicated in this country. And then Kennedy, not the Kennedy we all were proud of, got in and he started talking about vaccines were not good, this, that, and the other. So people stopped doing it, and now we've got a measles epidemic. They have had 10 individuals, I think they said 3 or 4 of them are children, die in Texas, and now it's passing around. And they said if it keeps going at the rate that it's going, stats have said that we are going to be in another situation like we were with COVID.
And they just came out with this last night. You know, they have a pneumonia vaccine now. But they've cut back on all of that. And they said pneumonia cases are rising.
That's right.
Are rising. And that's very, you know, that's lung.
That's right.
Lung disease. And that's damaging to the lungs that can't be many times repaired.
Right.
And so people are people
will be dying.
They will be dying.
And then they're not going to be able to get the health care because they're not going to have it because of the Medicaid. And then they're not going to have the hospitals.
And the people have to travel miles and miles to get, they say like some of them 4 hours to get to a hospital, to get treated. They said like if you get a bad cut on your leg, what you're gonna lose your leg if you don't get some care.
Right.
At some of the places here,
and they're already closing down.
Take 4 hours to get to a place, and then you know when you get there, they're so backed up.
Right. Well, because they don't have enough help.
They don't have help.
They have sent people home. They've let people go, and now they're getting ready to do another big, massive cut in the government. And so you're already, if you're trying to get in touch with people in Social Security offices, different things like that, you cannot reach anyone because they've let these individuals go. And then they have individuals in these positions that know absolutely nothing.
They have to be trained, and you can't blame the folks in the position because they come in and when I came in, I'm a nurse. When I came into the operating room, I had somebody to teach me to be a surgical nurse. When somebody else came in, I taught that somebody else to be a surgical nurse. Right. We knew how to do, we were surgical nurses, we knew what the doctors needed. But you can't walk a nurse fresh out of the University of Missouri into the operating room and tell her to be a doctor's assistant in
right.
surgery. That's the same way with Social Security and all of these other areas that you work in.
Right.
Is that you have to have somebody to train them.
That's
of,
right.
Of what all these laws and rules and regulations mean. And they have come in, and then this Trump and Mustang is sickening, you know.
It is.
Very sickening, because you don't know what kind of trick they're trying to pull on us.
It's just mirrors and smoke screens. They really, you know, the Musk makes all that money from the military. And Trump is in charge of the military. And they're saying that they're arguing this, that the whole time in the background, money is being made.
Yes.
Trump's making money and Musk is making money. And
Trump,
that's the reason why it's like a superficial fight between the two.
And the president of the United States is prohibited.
Supposed to be.
They are supposed to, by law, prohibited.
By law. But once again,
more money.
They have allowed him. We've got
anything he
Trump Bibles, gold tennis shoes. Now they've got a sickening cologne.
Yeah.
They said it's with a gold bottle with Trump.
Yeah, Trump.
So everything he does, he's trying to profit from. And then he's
with the coins now.
Right, of course. And then
the family's getting rich off of that.
Right, because he is the one that is putting in the laws.
He's in charge of it.
Yes, and they're making money off of it. And so it is AI. They've got it all messed up. We're falling so far behind that the other countries are embarrassing us now. And so it's shameful that the United States was a country to be proud of. And he has come in less than 6 months and just tore it up.
And now the new law says, you know, for people to be receiving SNAP and Medicaid, and so they have to be working. The first place, they sick. They can't work.
Right.
They were laid off.
Right.
Because they couldn't work. They were sick. But now they're saying they're going to have a job.
Well, see, but they're going to be in for a rude awakening, because they think, and they portray that most of the individuals on SNAP are black or minority.
And that's not the truth.
And that's not the truth. Most of the people that are on SNAP are white
or Hispanic.
And so what have you, they're giving a false sense to people as to what's going to. So what's going to happen is this is going to affect their families.
But he made it where much of this does not start till 27.
After the midterms.
After the midterms. After the election.
And that's why it's up to us to put it out there. We have got to be vigilant in our speech, making sure that we're allowing people and letting people know what is to come. That, you know, you're feeling a little bit now, but it's really going to hit you after the midterms, because this was set up. That was a smoke screen. It was set up so that it would come after the midterms, so that you wouldn't be able to use that during the election time, because it has not happened.
And you know, people are talking about it. We're talking about this right now, and we're going to be talking about it, because one of the things that we decided, that the liberal people decided, right-thinking people decided, is that we can't quit talking about it, because that's what he wants us to do. It's out of mind, out of sight, out of mind, and nobody thinks about it. We have to be vigilant and thinking about every day exactly what he is doing to destroy our democracy and our way of life in the United States of America. We have to fight, because we are going to be in a real fight, because he's got all these MAGA people out here. That's why he got those people out of jail. Those people that are running around here with this ice on their back, nobody but those same people who were up there tearing into the Capitol on January 6th.
Right.
You know, those are the same people.
Right.
And that's why they've got masks on, you know.
Right.
And they're walking around here picking people up who've done absolutely nothing.
Well,
we don't even know how many citizens, we don't know how many people that they have picked up.
Or where they're sending them.
Or where they're sending them, that were really, really really citizens of the United States.
Right.
We don't know because we don't know who all they were. They just go out and pick people up and take them in and take them away.
Right.
And we don't know. And then define the judges. We need to fire the judges too. We need to take away their rights.
And we need to redo the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court has to. We need to redo that. They don't need to.
And they have no more pride than the respect we give them, and we need to not give them any respect.
And I don't give them any respect.
No, because they are not doing anything that is beneficial to the United States of America, period.
No, absolutely.
To the citizens.
Just to Trump gets everything he wants.
Right.
You know, and so that is and you know what? In the first place, there's no way in the world that Donald Trump should have ever been able to even run for the president of the United States.
You cannot be a felon and vote.
All of those
but
34 convicted, 34 conviction, and you can run for president, and you can run for president
of the United States.
And the normal person go out here and steal $20 from Walmart, would be voting rights would be taken away, and voting rights would be taken away.
Right. And well, I think it's 75 or something like that because it becomes a felon.
Right.
And they take your voting rights.
Yeah.
But you can't vote. But you can run for president.
Yeah.
You know, and that's illogical, and that it's a rule that they put in place just for Trump.
Absolutely.
Because they fear him because he's a bully. Mm-hmm. And they look, he's a gangster. He's got a gangster mentality, and he's a bully. And so what he does is he rallies his little gang around him. They're always talking about gang. He rallies his gang around him, and they go out and they trash the United States. But the sad thing is,
people in their family.
They do, and that's what people are scared of.
Yes.
He's going to talk about me. He's going to say something about me.
Getting a promotion.
Right.
He's going to keep me from doing this, and he's going to keep me from doing
because they know he's crazy enough to say or do anything. Mm-hmm. Right now, he's trying to do retaliation on these sergeants and colonels and bring them up on stuff from his first term because he has nothing better to do. We've got Ukraine that's getting ate up by Russia right now because you pulled stuff back. Now you're saying, oh yeah, we need to give them some more stuff now. Things that we needed to be handling were not being handled because you're too busy trying to do retaliation because you, like a little whining child, I'm mad at what you said to me, so I'm going to get you back and I'm going to bully my way to do it. And then you have your gang come in and do the work with them messing up Medicaid and being over. These individuals that you have placed in these positions know absolutely nothing about the work that they are supposed to be doing.
Totally, they are totally embarrassing. In Bundy and all of them,
right?
When they sit up there in front of the press,
yes, man, that's all they do.
And the things that they say, and the things that they ask them, they don't know. But they don't know.
No,
they ask them a question. They don't know nothing.
Well, the first thing they do is open up and say, before we get started, we just wanted to talk about President Trump is this and President Trump is that and President Trump is this. And when they get done with all that, they have not addressed the issue. They don't know anything. And so they move on and they think that we are so narrow-minded that we don't catch it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so it's an embarrassment to our country, but more than being an embarrassment, it's hurtful. We are going to have so many people that are going to be in need.
Our security, our security is in jeopardy.
I'm scared for him to even know where the button is.
Our security, and not just him, but our security is in jeopardy because those countries that would like to take over the United States see the division
and the
weakness and the division within our country,
right?
And they can just keep squeezing, like Elon Musk and other folks. They can just keep squeezing them in here until they got. We don't know how much he got.
Right. He got everybody's Social Security.
He got everything he wanted.
And then he came from a country with apartheid.
Yes.
And came over here and then got all of this Social Security information and all of this stuff. And he's from South Africa.
Yes.
And it's just, we just have some serious issues here that we have got to make people aware
We gotta
of.
make our representatives stand up. We got to
and we've got to make our citizens realize that this is not somebody else's problem. That is our problem, everyone's problem. It's not going to just affect me. It's going to affect you. It may not affect you. It'll affect your child. It'll affect your mom. It'll affect your niece, your cousin, a friend. But somebody you know is going to be affected by all this craziness that we've got going on. And we've got to make people aware so that we can make a difference when we go to the polls.
Absolutely.
We have got to do it.
People can't go to college anymore.
No.
You know, and they're trying to interfere with the fact that the truth's being told. That's exactly what they're trying to do.
So the news media.
To take the books away from the libraries, etc.
Right.
The libraries, and so that the people, the young people that's coming along, be they black or white, will not know the true history.
And
will not have the incentive to fight for the America that we're talking about, because
they won't know about it.
They won't know about it.
And
so that's what they're trying to keep from happening. So we got a fight on our hands.
We've
got to be willing. We got to be willing.
We got to say we're not scared.
We're not scared.
And we have to stand up.
We have to
the bully.
We have to take the heat.
And this big bad bill, we have to pay attention to it and look at every aspect of what is in that bill and address it.
They don't know what it said. How dare those representatives and senators to vote for a bill, a big bill that big, and then saying they don't know what's in it?
The ones that say they know said they don't even like what's in it.
They didn't like what was in it. The one that did know, and then the others say they didn't know this was in here.
But they voted for it. And that's what we have representing us. So we have turned the purse over to Donald Trump from the House and the Senate because they're scared that he might call their name out, say something negative about them.
And if you are a representative and your life is totally wrapped around the fact that you are a representative, that does not say much for you. If that's what makes you tick, that does not say much for you. You have to think of yourself as a worthy human being that is that God has given certain abilities to do certain things, and you got to be willing to stand out there, and you got to be willing. When we are given to much, whom much is given, much is required. And so when we are given the abilities, the finances, etc., to make the difference, and we need to step up and make the difference.
And we don't need to sit and wait for someone else to do it.
We
have to do it ourselves.
We got to do it ourselves.
We have to participate. We have to be involved. With that being said, we do have a very important day coming up.
Yes, we do.
John Lewis Day.
Yes.
It's nationally. It is on the 17th. So we ask each and every one of you, wherever you are, to look in your specific area for the John Lewis Good Trouble Day programs that are going on and rallies.
And especially look at the one when she votes. Rally.
Well, that's here in Missouri. I mean nationally.
Yeah, but that when she votes, we are having our rally, our big rally, here on the 17th at 7 o'clock at the courthouse. We bring your little flashlights because they don't allow us to have candles there. We're going to do a candlelight vigil from 7 to 8, and so we want you all there. We are going to give one of our esteemed state representative who is fighting every day, the good fight for us. Our group, when she votes, and the NAACP voted to give the John Lewis Good Trouble Award to Representative David Tyson Smith, because he is standing up for us, and we want to see the rest of you stand up, because we want to give you the very same backing that we are giving him for the work that he's doing. We want to be able to say to you, we have your back.
But we admonish all of you to wherever you are to go get involved in the Good Trouble rallies. This is a big event. And we want to make sure that it's well represented, and we want you to be involved and get in that good trouble, because John Lewis stood for good trouble. He was beaten on that bridge. He was not scared. He did what he had to do. And so we have to be willing to take a stand, because if you won't fight for something, if you won't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And so we want to make sure that you take a stand and do that by being involved in that John Lewis Good Trouble Day. So look for it in your area. Here in Columbia, of course, we will be at the courthouse at 7 o'clock. They do have some programs earlier in the day. We don't want you to sit at home. We want you to come out, make some noise, get involved, because that's the only way that we can make change is by being involved. And we can do it one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time.
And we want to say to Columbia, we want to participate in all of the activities that are going on in Columbia for the John Lewis and for civil rights period. We want you to be involved. We don't want any separation. We don't want anything that come between us to keep us from doing what we need to do for our community and for our nation. So we are supporting other groups that are having rallies in Columbia and anywhere else that we can go there. I know they're having some at the Capitol, etc. But we want you to know that wherever we are, that we are together. That we're together. We can't, because together we stand, divided we fall. And so we don't want, especially in Columbia, we've come too far to turn around.
We've got a very progressive city here. And we want to keep, that little blue dot in a red state.
That's it.
And we want to keep it that way. And in order to do that, we have to fight. And you can do the same in your area. You don't have to be that red just because you're in a red state. You don't have to have your town be red. You can fight in your area and be that little blue dot in a red state.
And what that blue dot says is that you believe in equality. You believe in fairness.
Unity.
You believe in giving folks a hand up. You believe in feeding the hungry and making sure that those that are sick get the health care, and that our children are getting a good education, and that they're not going home. They're not going to bed hungry at night.
And
those are things that we need to fight for. We need to stand together, lock arms together. And that's what America has been all these years. That's why people are fighting to get here to America, because it was such, pretty soon nobody's going to want to come here.
Nobody's going to. Well, we have to look at the examples of the children. We talk about the granddaughter, and she went to the store, and a little African-American little white kid came up and ran up, and they hugged, and it was, the racism was not there.
No.
All of that was just two individuals that knew each other. They were happy to see each other.
They were friends.
And until the poison gets put into the minds of someone, then they would remain friends. And so what we're trying to do is to keep that from happening.
We're trying poison out.
You're right, because it's not necessary. We can move together, lockstep, one another, minority, black, white, what have you, as long as we have the same goal in mind. And that is to love one another, and that is to help one another, feed each other, educate each other, have each other's back, and make sure that we are standing up. When we stand up against these bad bills, we're standing up not just for self.
And let me just say, to our audience out there, is that we're not going to let nobody turn us back. We've come too far to turn around. So we're going to be on the march. We're going to be out there. You're going to see us. We aren't going to be in the background. We're going to be fighting with these other groups that are fighting to make Columbia what it ought to be, and there to be a beacon light to the rest of the people that see us, to see that you can make a difference when you see what Columbia used to be and what it is now. That makes a big difference.
We did have a question that was asked of us, and that was, how did we feel about Alligator Alcatraz, the prison being opened up in Florida?
I think it's absolutely disgraceful. I think that for us to come up with any kind of prison or anything, it is supposed to be a livable situation. And that is not a livable situation. And they have that there, and they talked about earlier, the fact that Trump talked about earlier, that they couldn't escape because of the alligators that would pursue them if they were. And then he's saying that he wants these kinds of prisons in other parts of the earth. He's supposed to be in one himself.
Right.
And so it just makes me very angry to hear him even talk about criminals being criminals when he is the very fact that he's out because of these judges that haven't done their job is the only reason why he is able to be free to even make the decision. Is because the judges did not do their job, that I am on a rampage to get rid of them.
Well, one of the things is that these detainees, they are not convicted.
No, they're not convicted.
And so they are detainees, just that, waiting.
In those
and you are
places.
Putting them in places that you have told officials that they were not allowed to go in because of dangerous situations. Well, what are these individuals in a dangerous situation?
Right.
Because if they're not allowed to even go in to visit or view, then those individuals that are in there have to be in a dangerous situation. And so,
what is the dangerous situation?
And what is it? And so, no, I think that it is a terrible, terrible thing. And I think that we need to keep our eye on it. We need to make sure that we let our lawmakers know that we do not condone it,
and we want them to
do something about it. And so we have to make some noise. Yes. And that's what we're going to need to do. And he's talking about putting it in other states. We don't want that. We do not want to be a country with, just imagine, prisons everywhere, locking up people. We want to be a country of love and unity.
Yes.
And that's what the problem is that we have individuals in office right now that don't have that mindset and don't want us to have that mindset.
Know nothing about love and taking care of
No, it's all about greed and money.
Greed and money and yourself. They're not concerned about anybody else.
Right.
And we cannot let that happen.
We cannot let it happen.
Cannot let that happen. We have to be devoted to, we are supposed here not just to take care of ourselves, but yes, we are.
That's just cruel.
We're our brother's keeper.
Right, that's just cruel. We're going to put you in a place surrounded by alligators. What is your point except trying to get individuals
to fight?
Right, fight or kill.
Right.
And that is not the country that our forefathers had planned out for us. So we need to make change, and we need to make change happen by getting to the polls and doing the things we know we need to do.
In the Constitution says that we are supposed to be a country to be happy.
Life, liberty, and
the pursuit of happiness.
Right. Not misery.
No, not misery.
And fear.
And so what he is doing is putting us through fear and misery.
Right.
And with the people and their families.
Right. And he has no allegiance to anyone. So everyone that thinks that they're doing anything, look at Tim Scott. Look at these individuals that jumped out there doing all this stuff for Trump. You don't even hear about him anymore because he has no need for them. So he uses them until he uses them up, and then he kicks them to the side, and then threatens them with, if you say anything, I'm going to call you a name, or I'm going to say something negative about you. And so these individuals
after you.
Right.
That's what he does. I'm going to send the crowd.
Right. That's the game. That's the game. So no, we are thankful for the question that you asked. We are not in agreement with that. And what we can do to make a difference is get out there and make some noise and let them know that this is not acceptable in our country, and we do not condone it, and we'll do everything in our power to help get that change made. And so we invite all of you, any of you that would like to send us any questions or have any comments, to please get in touch with us. You can reach us at truthofthematters1@gmail.com. That's truthofthematters1@gmail.com. Now we want you to not just do that. We want you to like, subscribe, hit that bell so you'll get the notifications when we come out with our next show. Keep us in your hearts and minds. Look for us and prayers, and look for us next week. We'll try to keep you abreast of what's going on in the world and in the community around you, and hopefully inspire you to get out and get in some good trouble. And so we just want to thank you for tuning into our podcast today. And the truth of the matter is.